I don't want to continue living like that, where I'm just suppressing everything and I'm hiding everything and I'm pretending like I'm okay all the time when I'm really not. I think a lot of us are terrified of hitting rock bottom because you're forced to come to terms with yourself. A bitch knows how to reinvent herself. Hi guys, my name is Chrissy. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. You already know what we're going to be getting into today, so I don't think I need to say much. Hello. Last week I did a thing where I decided on a whim that I wanted to chop my hair off. There's like this joke or this meme or like whatever, this stereotype that like women usually like chop their hair off or make these massive changes to their appearance once they've gone through something traumatic, like the ending of an unhealthy relationship, or like you're entering a new phase in your life. Just like when outside circumstances are changing around you, you might change something about your appearance to regain that control, or sometimes it's just to kind of like reinvent yourself, right? And so that's basically what happened to me. So I'm filming this video to inspire you guys. This is really like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. Give you that extra push that you need to just fucking do it. Like if you're going through shit right now, chop your hair off. You've been debating dyeing your hair pink, girl, go dye that shit pink. If you want to get a sleeve tattoo, do it within reason. Think about that a little more, you know, but you know, do it. I think that's really like the point of life, is to constantly change and reinvent yourself to adjust to the changes that life brings. All right, I'm getting preachy already, so before I really get into like why you should cut your hair off and all this stuff, let me explain to you guys like my thought process and why I went and did this. So first and foremost, I don't know if any of you guys are like into astrology or horoscopes or anything like that, but basically I got a reading last month that basically like told me what was gonna happen this month. I usually take these things with a grain of salt. I applied that same logic to this month. And when I tell you that everything this woman said was true, it was actually terrifying. Like in this reading, I'm being told in this next month you're going to be forced to prioritize your mental health. You are going to battle with, you know, personal or like familial problems specifically. You're gonna have to learn how to deal with and cope with these things. You're going to experience loss or grief. This person with this sign is going to, you know, leave your life, and you're going to have to let someone that you care about dearly go. Maybe a potential love interest, just all of these things. Everything she predicted ended up happening. And that was really fucking crazy to me. It's safe to say, and I'm not ashamed to say this, because I feel like everyone like goes through this. Everyone has like moments in their life where like your mental health is just in the gutter. Like it literally like went to shit. And this month, that's exactly what happened. Like for the past like month, I was actually on like a high. Like I was doing really well. I was taking care of myself. Like life was just flowing so easily and effortlessly. Even though there were some things I was still like working on, I could see this improvement. And then this month started and everything just went to shit. And it was just like one thing after another. I found myself becoming overwhelmed more easily. I gained a lot of new responsibility. I dealt with some severe family issues that really messed with me, because as with most people, like our family is like the most sensitive subject for us, right? Someone that I deeply cared about did hurt me and left my life, so I had to grieve the loss of that person. I actually had to grieve the loss of like a few people this month. That was hard to deal with on top of everything else I have been dealing with. So there's that. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of shit I've dealt with this past month. So yeah, one thing that I know about myself for sure is that a bitch knows how to reinvent herself. I'm making this video to like emphasize that you're meant to do these things in your life because life is like constantly changing. There's nothing wrong with reinventing yourself. Well, the week before last, I went through like a very traumatic experience which I don't think I want to go into detail about yet because it was like very hard. It made me question a lot about, you know, my life. And I feel like I'm someone that's always kind of like analyzing myself, my life, my circumstances, how I can better myself. I'm like obsessed with self-development and self-improvement in all aspects. So whether it be like personal, spiritual, like mental health, physical, like anything like that. That week though, like I just was depressed. Like to be honest, like I was fucking depressed. Like I definitely think I let a lot of the things in my life that I had been like subconsciously suppressing, I let them all come to the surface, and it was a shit show. I don't know if y'all are into astrology again, but Geminis, we be holding in so much shit. We literally do not talk about our problems to people like that. If a Gemini opens up to you and like really spills like their deepest, darkest secrets to you, not only will you better understand us, because everyone loves to hate us, just know you're special. Basically, just know you're special. I keep a lot of the issues and feelings that I have to myself because I've always kind of had to do that. I kind of hit a breaking point with that. I hit a serious breaking point, and I was like, I don't want to continue living like that, where I'm just suppressing everything and I'm hiding everything and I'm pretending like I'm okay all the time when I'm really not. And I have these issues that I keep thinking I'm working through, but then I fall back like 10 steps, or I have moments like this where I have like a mental breakdown. How can I change this? It got to that point where you just start questioning pretty much everything. And I came to the conclusion that I am experiencing an ego death. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I will like give the definition right here. I think that it is one of those terms that you can really interpret it in different ways. It really depends on context for sure. For me personally, I see an ego death as like breaking away the egotistical mask that you present to other people to come back to your true self. This isn't the first like ego death I've experienced, but I guess I'll like go further into it. We all wear a sort of mask when we present ourselves to society, because whether you want to admit it or not, we are heavily influenced by society. We're heavily influenced by these expectations that are placed upon us since a very young age, whether it be like whatever social norms are attached to like your gender or your sex or your sexual identity or your race. All of these boxes that we're expected to conform to, right? We all to some degree have internalized these expectations. Society teaches us like this is how the world is supposed to operate. This is how people like you and I are supposed to navigate this world. That's very harmful for one, because now you're going into this headspace where you have this idea, right? Like this idea of who you're supposed to be already, and then that's not what happens, right? Like you try to conform to what everyone tells you you're supposed to be, and when it doesn't feel right to you, you continue to stick with it because you believe that that's the right way to be, and then you shame and guilt yourself when you aren't naturally that thing. You internalize these feelings and you blame yourself rather than blaming the society that perpetuates this fake ass norm, just socially constructed norm that really doesn't mean shit and is completely baseless. It tries to tell you who you are and what you can be. Like, no, right? And so I feel like a lot of us have that. For example, like the face you put on when you go to work, like that's all based in ego because you have this idea of what the perfect employee is supposed to be, so you pretend to be that way. And if you don't conform to that, you can shame yourself and guilt yourself to a point where like you may not even recognize yourself, because deep down inside you feel one way, but on the outside you are portraying yourself in another way that is not true to who you are. And it can create this sort of like dissonance within yourself. You come to a point where you just don't know yourself. I hope everything I'm saying is making sense. But that's kind of the point I hit, like kind of rock bottom, not gonna lie. One of the many rock bottoms I've experienced. I think a lot of us are terrified of hitting rock bottom because you're forced to come to terms with yourself. An ego death is kind of like hitting rock bottom in a sense. We put ourselves like in these positions to like be something other than what we are, because not only are we afraid to find out who we truly are because we're afraid we're not gonna like ourselves, but also because like to some degree we just care about what people think of us, you know? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but there is something damaging when you prioritize what other people think of you more than, you know, how you think of yourself. That's kind of what an ego death is. And I basically experienced that, and the way I was able to recognize it was because this wasn't my first one. Last year during quarantine, I went through another one. I was just like very depressed. I was in a very dark place, obviously because the world was going to shit, but also because like I just felt like everyone around me was fake. I felt like everyone around me like didn't have good intentions. I was like picking up on people's energy a lot more. I felt just like angry all the time, and I wanted to isolate myself, and I like hated everything, and I was just so sad. I mistreated my body. I did not prioritize my mental or physical health at all. I was like, I hate God. Like there were a lot of things like I was going through internally that I didn't understand, because even though like I was aware of like external forces and everything that was happening in the world, it felt so much deeper than that. It felt more personal than anything that I could experience outside in the world. My friend, who was, you know, there for me a lot during that time, was like, you know, you're experiencing an ego death. Like everything that you are feeling about other people, the hatred you feel towards other people right now, it has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you. Things you were seeing in other people that you dislike are things you're seeing in yourself that you don't like. And that's good, because now you're at a point of awareness. For example, like say I noticed like someone in my life is like very fake, very two-faced, and I hate that about that person. It's probably because I do the same thing. And so me hating on that person and hating that they do that, it's me really hating on myself, and that's a quality that I hate about myself. After like that very difficult time, I just became a different person. Like the person I was last year, I don't resonate with that person anymore. The beliefs and views that person had, although my morals have remained pretty intact, like the way I go about handling situations, the way that I treat myself, the way that I treat others has vastly changed and evolved. So that's how now I'm able to recognize that's kind of what I went through last week. So this became a video about ego death more than chopping your hair off. But yes, I did have a mental breakdown. Yes, I wanted a change, but it was like deeper than that. It was more of, I want to like completely reinvent myself and change the person that I am. And of course those are all internal things, but I think that like starting with the external is like the best way we know how to begin the process of then going inside and fixing the internal. I went to the hair salon. This is what it looked like before, and this is what it looked like after. Okay guys, so I'm drunk. Nice little situation. So I chopped my hair off. Like I literally cut it all the way off. I feel great. I love it. Honestly, I feel like myself. I feel really beautiful and confident. So yeah, that's the vibe. Okay, I want to show you. Bye guys, I love you. You can say what you want, like, oh, like don't judge a book by its cover, but I do think that the way that we like portray ourselves to other people, the way that we display ourselves to other people is an indicator of like who you are kind of, and like more so what you're feeling inside. If I'm feeling powerful, I might wear all black, but at the same time, if I'm feeling sad, I might wear all black. If I'm feeling like I don't give a fuck, I might walk outside in Crocs and some booty shorts. Like, it's a way of expressing yourself. I know you're probably thinking, oh my god, I don't want to chop my hair off and regret it. I don't want to dye my hair pink and regret it. I don't want to get this piercing and regret it. Like, honey, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it, because life is way too short for you to like overthink whether you should get a haircut or not. Like, come on, it's not that deep. We are all meant to change. We're all meant to evolve. We're all meant to like discover new versions of ourselves, and obviously it doesn't always have to manifest in the form of changing your physical appearance, but like it's a part of it. And if there's nothing wrong with like playing around and doing that, like, yeah, just because I cut my hair, it doesn't make me a completely new person. Like, I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still like I'm still who I am right now. But it definitely was a great way to start, and it definitely has added to like the quality of who I am in some way, if that makes sense. I feel more, you know, confident. I honestly feel more like myself. At one point my hair was more for like other people than myself, because I liked the attention I would get, and I liked the compliments from girls and guys, and like now it's like, yeah, I just feel like there's so much more to me than my hair. And I'm not saying that you can't have that opinion and have long ass hair, but for me, like that was always something I felt like was a safety blanket. And now like I just want to get to a point where I see my like true self, and for some reason the best way to do that was to cut my hair off, and I don't regret it at all. Like I'm absolutely in love with it. I've never felt more like myself, and I'm probably gonna cut it shorter. So yeah, that's basically why I chopped my hair off. This is your sign to chop yours off too. If you're going through like an identity crisis, an ego death, like you don't know who you are and like you're experimenting, like dude, like just relax and fucking do it. Like if you want to go like fuck that guy because you know you think he's your soulmate, like go fuck that guy. Just do it. Like experience life, go out there, make a change, whether it be like to your external appearance, whether it be in another person's life. Try everything out at least once. Honestly, I still don't know who the fuck I am, and even like doing all of this internal work, trying to become like a better person and learning how to like cope with my mental health issues and cope with the difficulties of just everyday life, like that in itself is a fucking journey. And I still feel like I don't know anything sometimes, even though I've accomplished and I've learned so much and I'm progressing so much. Don't take that shit too seriously. Like cutting your hair is not the end of the world, like getting a tattoo is not the end of the world. Like bro, it's literally nothing. And if it makes you feel empowered, if it makes you feel good in this moment, if you feel like you're getting closer to like who you want to be by doing it, as superficial as it seems, then just fucking do it. Like who fucking cares? No one. I love that I could just sit here and talk about this. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of all over the place. I'm talking a million miles a minute because I just had coffee. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you like my haircut. If you don't, I'm kidding. I don't really care if you like it, but I love it. I feel great. Like hello, like who is what? If you guys enjoy this style of video, if you like me just randomly ranting and like talking about my thoughts and I guess being a little more vulnerable about myself and stuff like that, if you can relate, then you should definitely, you know, like this video, subscribe, why not? We'll see you in the next video. Bye.